You want to roll out your gum paste as thinly as possible. Cut as many carnation petals as you can using your carnation cutter of choice. Put the extras underneath the flap of plastic so that they don't dry out. When you're ready, put your carnation petal on a shaping foam and widen and thin the petals using a ball tool. I also like to thin out the center. Next, take a frill stick, or a toothpick will work, and you're going to want to frill the edges all the way around the carnation. Notice that I dusted my board maybe a little bit too much. I think I had a hole in my dusting pouch, but that ruffles up the edges. Next, take your carnation base and brush it lightly with the gum glue. Then thread the carnation petal up to the base, kind of fold it over in half like that, and then lightly brush one side of the base with your gum glue, and then fold over half of the carnation like that, and then fold the other side over going the opposite way. And that's your first carnation petal. That's the middle of your carnation. To make the second carnation petal, start it off like you did the first. Thin it using your ball tool. Then take your modeling stick or toothpick and frill all the way around the carnation. You can frill it as much as you like. The more ruffled up and torn up the edges look, the more realistic your carnation is going to look. Then you're just going to build your carnation. Again, thread the wire through the center of the petal. Lightly brush around the base with your gum glue, and then use your fingers to kind of gather up the carnation around the base so that it's roughly at the top like that. You may have to kind of pinch it down around the base. You can then, for your third carnation petal, I like to have this one be a little bit wider and even a little bit more torn up. So I really give it a go with my bone tool before I frill the edges. And again with this one, I'm going to frill the edges a little bit more because this is that outer edge of petals. And if you look at a real carnation, they get pretty torn up and pretty roughed up. So to try to make it look realistic, I'm going to really frill these edges. And then just go ahead and put it on the carnation like you did the other two. Thread it through the wire. Lightly brush with your gum glue. It's important to let the petals dry in between. It'll make it easier to build the flower if the previous petal is already pretty dry and set. This one you may have to turn upside down and pinch it around the base to kind of help form it, or you can run it through your fingers like how I'm doing here to give it more of a rounded shape. You may have kind of the odd petal that where it folds over it likes to stick out. For your final petal, this is going to be kind of the most torn up looking of all of the petals in the carnation because these are going to be the ones at the outer edge. So I spend a little bit more time thinning this one out. And then I take the modeling stick there and I frill the edges just like I did with the other petals. Once I'm finished ruffling the edges, I'm just going to take the petal and thread it through to the base of my carnation, just like I did with the previous petals. Attach it with a little gum glue, turn it upside down and pinch to secure, and you can see that it looks pretty dang realistic. If I need to run it through my fingers to give it a round shape, that's fine, but compare it with the real carnation.